There are some times that I meet people and my daughters think that I'm actually cool mum. Doesn't happen often, but Max Fosh...
Hasn't happened today.
No, it has. And each time I've met you and my daughters go, how do you know? I said, because I contacted him years ago. I love pranks. Max Fosh, you are a genius.
Hello, Gabby Roslin. Thank you very much.
No, I mean it.
I might put that on the CV.
Yeah, you can.
That's very kind.
Genius. People use that word too easily these days.
And you have in this context.
No, I haven't. I haven't. Because I love a prank, but you don't hurt anybody.
No.
And that's the whole big thing.
No, I saw it like to go diving into the sociology of pranks. I think we saw in the UK and kind of media in the 90s and early noughties a lot of pranks started to become quite prevalent in kind of media, and that used to be a lot of like punching down kind of stuff. And then the last 15, 20 years, I think we've seen. Well, I've tried to make sure that anything that I'm doing doesn't have a victim, or if it does, it's myself. So a lot of the videos that I do and pranks that I do are kind of slightly ribbing myself. Like I did a video where I entered the Mr. Universe bodybuilding competition.
It was just...
And the person who looked silly in that particular instance was me, because I was like, quite pale and flabby amongst these guys who'd spent the last 4 years turning themselves into absolute chiseled gods.
I don't know if I'd say gods.
No, well, no, maybe not.
Just extraordinary.
Extraordinary,
bodies.
yes.
Yeah.
But so I've with the videos that I make and the pranks I do, I've always tried to make sure there is no victim, or if there is one, it's me.
I see. I love that. Is it something that you did as a child? So your dad was a professional cricketer, but before you were born.
Before I was around, yeah. So Dad, he was a professional cricketer. He played for Essex in the 70s. He opened the batting with Graham Gooch, and then in 1978 he retired at the age of 21, which I think was quite a.
It's very young.
Very young, and I think the cricketing fraternity at the time were a little bit surprised and shocked. And he just said, I'm just not interested in this at all. So at 21, he then went into the city and just became a trader. And when he was 22, 23. And so, yeah, he started out as a professional cricketer. When I was growing up, I was obsessed with sports. I just wanted to be a sportsman.
That's what I was going to say. Did you want to follow that?
Yeah, I tried to become a cricketer, and it turns out I was rubbish. I kind of thought, what else am I going to do? And to be fair, I've never really been somebody who's been particularly naughty at school. I was very much the individual I was the total nerd. I would ask the teacher, sir, you haven't taken in the homework yet, because I know that I knew that I'd done a good job, which much to the chagrin of my classmates, they're like, what are you doing? So I was very goody two shoes at school, and then it was at university.
So you never naughty with a small
naughty,
n? Never
naughty. And then it was at university when I kind of thought, oh, hold on. You can be naughty, but still within the confines of the rules, which is kind of
I like that.
And so I never liked the idea of making someone get upset as a result of something that I'd done. And so I remember when I was at university, I realised in my kind of first week that my desk in my room, my tiny student halls, was the same width as the lift in the student accommodation. And so at 2 a.m, I moved in my entire desk, posters on the inside of the lift, plant, books, computer, lamp, everything. I moved my room into the elevator in the student accommodation, and as people were coming back at 2 a.m. from nights out, they would get the lift. I'd turn around and be like, what do you get out of my room? What are you doing?
I've done exactly the same thing.
Brilliant.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, I just became known as Lift Boy.
I did something in a hotel years ago, because I used to do breakfast telly before you were born, and actually just when you were born, and I was on holiday, and I put everything that I could possibly do. So every time anybody got on the lift, they went, "Oh," I said, "No, you're in my room. Sorry, wrong room."
Yeah. What japes?
I never met anybody as crazy as me.
Yeah, I did that at uni, and I kind of thought that's fun.
I love that and then you realised that how much fun it was, and how much fun people got from it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but again, still, that wasn't I wanted to do your job, Gabby. I wanted to be in radio.
Well, you have.
Yeah, I worked at hospital radio for 4 years.
Award-winning DJ.
Award-winning, yes. Radio Tyneside. Dave Nicholson, who runs Radio Tyneside. What an incredible place that is. And I worked there for 4 years as a volunteer, and I started on the night shift from 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. and then slowly made my way up to the breakfast show. And I loved my time on hospital radio. I think it was allowed me to mess around and kind of like learn what I was good at, what I was not good at. I found out that you should not play the song "Highway to Hell" on hospital radio.
Yes, you don't need to explain that one. I'm there with you.
That was a very stern call in the morning. And my argument was, why is it on the system? If it was on the system, and so no, I worked. I wanted to be in radio, and I had a few demos at BBC Radio Newcastle and Heart Northeast. But as you can imagine, with the plummiest voice that there's ever been in this studio, I didn't quite get the job in regional radio.
But you've done Radio 1 though, haven't you?
I did one show for 2 hours on Christmas Day on Radio 1.
Takeover.
Did the TikTok takeover. Thank you,
But
Alan
hold on.
Jones.
I think without a doubt you can be on radio. Look, Jamie Lang's there on Radio 1.
Jamie's done very well on Radio 1. So I'm kind of waiting for someone else to Gabby, if you want to take a few months off.
Do you know what? Seriously, you are made for breakfast radio.
I'd love to do breakfast radio.
When Greg James moves on, because I think he's brilliant, lovely guy as well. When Greg moves, that's it. That's where you should be.
Because a lot of it is just kind of coming up with silliness that you see in your day-to-day life, which is kind of what the videos that I make is trying to, answer a question that someone's always wanted to know the answer to, and just doing it in a fun and silly way.
Okay, so let's go from the lift at uni.
Yeah.
And you did hospital award-winning radio.
Thank you, Gabby.
Yeah,
Thank you, Gabby.
Award-winning. But then how did the whole YouTube thing start? Because you literally just start with one video.
Yeah. So I was obsessed with this. I'd done radio for 4 years. I won the HBA the Hospital Broadcasting Association Award for Best Newcomer, which I'd been told was the pathway, that was the leap pad, and then no offers from the radio world at all. And I thought, okay, well, what do I do here? And I was obsessed with this idea about getting an agent. I thought, if you get an agent, then it all happens, and it all works out. And so I had done a lot of audio work that I could send off to people, but I thought I've not done anything that's video based. And, I was in my last year at university, and there was the Television Society at Newcastle University had a show where they would go out and chat to students who were on nights out in Newcastle. And I thought, that looks fun. And so I messaged them and said, hi, can I be your presenter, please? And having not been involved in the Television Society for the last 3 years, of course, they said, absolutely not. Who are you? So I just thought, okay, that's fine, fair enough. But surely I can do this myself. So I looked up what you needed. I thought, well, you need a camera and a microphone. I managed to corral friends to come and hold a microphone for me. And then in my last year at uni, every week I would go out, stand on the street at midnight, 1 a.m, and chat to students who were,
love it,
a few shandies deep. And so I made about 30, 40 videos as a result of that. In my last year at uni, and I enjoyed it. And it went on Facebook at this point. I had no idea that YouTube might be a possibility, or I was going to do YouTube. And it was kind of from there I realized, oh, hold on, this is a thing. This is something you can do. And I then graduated uni. Still didn't have any idea what I was going to do. Worked in a pub for 6 months. Then met.
Still doing videos.
Still going out and going to the National Wife Carrying Championships and filming a little 7-minute doc or interviewing people there, and I competed in the National Wife Carrying Championships. I don't have a wife.
Didn't have a wife.
I don't have a wife.
Yeah.
They're very forward thinking.
Oh, you did have a wife for about 3 minutes.
I did. No, yes.
That's another story.
I've been married twice technically.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was doing lots of these things, and I went to Drag Con in London and met a drag queen, an amazing drag queen called Kate Butch, who then ended up being on Drag Race 5 years later. So I was doing all of these things that just trying little bits and jumping around, and then I met one of my best mates now, Zach Alsop, who was another YouTuber at the time. And I just said, let me film for you, I'll do anything. And he was slightly more established at this point than me.
So how did you meet?
I walked past him on the street.
You're kidding. I love that. Okay, love that.
I walked past him on the street and I said, look, I will do anything. This is who I am. I make videos. I understand how it works. He was just starting out as well. I'll work for free. I'll do anything. And the next day, he messaged saying, "This is weird, but can you get to the O2 in 45 minutes?" And I was in bed, and was working at the pub later that afternoon, called in sick, ran to the O2, met Zach, filmed with him for a day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you're all right. You can stick around." And so I started filming with Zach, and then a few weeks after that, he said, "We've got an idea where we want to break you into London Fashion Week." And then the rest is kind of history from.
I love
from
that.
there.
And I mean, both of you are just cooking up a storm, but a really good storm. And do you know, I mean, I've obviously, even though I'm 33 every birthday, I've been in television for 100 years and radio. And the amount of people that say, "Oh, it's not like the golden days." I say, no, it really, really is, because it's always golden. It's just changing and moving, and that's really exciting. And as I've said this to you before, and you know I mean this, I think you're one of the most exciting people to come into television, into broadcast, let's just put it as a whole thing, because it has to change up, but it doesn't have to just be the same old, same old, same old. It needs to change. It needs to get exciting again, but also to draw people in, because it's not going to stop.
Well, it's
Television and radio is not going to stop.
No.
It just changes.
It just goes on different platforms. Actually, it's interesting for you. Like, what was the feeling, like the general feeling about the ecosystem of broadcasting in the late 90s, early noughties, when breakfast telly was, breakfast telly was absolute king. And it feels exciting to be doing what we're doing on YouTube, because we are such a small team. We can move so quickly. There's no bureaucracy. There's no one saying, "I don't think that's a good idea because of X, Y, Z." So we can have an idea and make it within 10 days or whatever, depending on how
faster
how
you get.
fast we can
You're in
edit.
bed and you get to the O2. Do it.
But I guess it's the same with, if you had an
Well,
idea
that's,
before.
yeah, I mean, it definitely was. And it was more, everyone was taking risks, far more risks. And I mean, I'm very lucky, because the stuff that I've always been involved with is about spreading joy. It's why I go on about it so much, spreading joy, but also kindness. So there was nothing cruel about the stuff. I wouldn't do cruel stuff. But you could just do it, and people didn't question it. And that's why you and a few others as well are really exciting, because you haven't got people to say, "No, we haven't got the money for it." You don't need that. You can just go off and do it. Like you say, with telephones these days, you don't need a heck of a lot. But you've got a team now, haven't you?
I've got a team, but it's a small team. It's a team of. So I started. I was just me editing and filming everything, and just asking mates to come and join me on experiences. And my girlfriend actually now is 6.5 years. On one of our first.
I was about to say,
dates.
my girlfriend is 65.
No.
What?
Yes, my girlfriend is 65 years. No, my girlfriend, one of our first dates, I was just kind of starting out, and I needed someone to help me film at a metal detecting convention. So I managed to spin it to her that this was a really exciting idea. On our fourth date, it was like, "Hey, do you want to come metal detecting with me?" And, to her credit, she was like, "Yes, absolutely." So no, it was me for 3 or 4 years, and then I hired a fantastic editor who's now kind of become like a creative partner, a guy called Aziz, who's great. And then we got a producer about 2 years ago, an amazing woman called Molly. And so it's just the three of us.
I love that.
And then we have a lot of freelancers who come in part-time for writing days. So every 2 weeks we have a big writing day, which is where we'll give confines. We'll kind of come up with a topic, let's say America, and we'll brainstorm the whole day, as many videos as we can about America. And we've got a Google Doc that's about 80 pages long with just one line.
So I was going to say, it all comes from one line, doesn't it?
It's absurd. Some of the lines that we've got on the ideas page. So yeah, the team is now full time, including me, 3. So it's not huge. But I'm back to your point about the media ecosystem. I think genuinely right now it is the most exciting time to be somebody who wants to get into the entertainment industry, because there are no guardians. There's no one saying yes, no, maybe in a few years. If you can find an audience yourself, you can do it. You can do it very quickly. And there are people who have their own radio shows on TikTok. They have people who are in, sketch shows or writing. And I think it's a really exciting time to be in.
What do you think, though, about television stations or radio stations who say they're chasing to get younger people to listen, to watch? I don't think I personally, you and I have spoken about this before, but I really strongly believe that you never put an age on it.
Completely
Every
agree.
single person can watch all of the stuff that we love, that you and I love.
Completely agree.
Why make it, oh, we'll bring the young people. Oh, this is for, no, everyone. We all need to feel better. We all need to laugh. I mean, so as you know, my favorite one, I just watch it. So, well, there's so many. Will, who works on this show, he was talking about his favorite ones as well. But it's the aeroplane and coming into land and they thought it was the wrong airport. That is a stroke of genius.
Yeah.
It was simple. Everybody saw it. Everybody knew it. Everybody laughed.
Everyone understood. It was just writing "Welcome to Luton" next to Gatwick Airport. I mean, I talk a lot about something called the pub test, which is if we come up with an idea, I will, if I'm going to the pub with my mates, can I explain that idea in a single sentence and people understand the concept and also understand the stakes and the potential motives and the formatting of the video? So we've just filmed a video that's probably going to come out in about 2 days' time where I took a church choir to sing football chants at a game.
Fantastic.
So hopefully you immediately understand.
I get that.
Yeah, 70-year-old Deirdre singing "The Referee's a Beep."
I love that. So many years ago, I did a show called The Big Breakfast, which is the show I was talking about before. And the people behind The Big Breakfast used to say, if you can describe whatever it is you're doing on the back of a matchbox,
nice.
It's one.
There you go.
And that's exactly the same thing that you're saying.
So what was something from The Big Breakfast that particularly sticks in your mind?
Oh, God. I can't just choose one.
I'll just do it again.
Just do it again. People won't remember it. It's a long time ago.
Just do what has worked before. The Welcome to Luton prank, that had been done in America about 30 years earlier by a guy in Missouri who wrote "Welcome to Cleveland" on his roof. And it's just about coming up with a slightly different twist for me, and Bob's your uncle. You can do that, and you can like pay homage to that thing, and you're yes-anding the idea.
It's very. There was a show 100 years ago called Candid Camera, and it was an American show where it just little bright. My favorite ever one, and I do it, and people never expect me to do that sort of thing, but it makes me laugh. Was you're just sitting in a restaurant and there's somebody at the next table and they've got chips or something, and you just lean over and you take a chip and you carry on talking. And I laughed so much when I was little at this. So when I was little, I was the shyest child ever, and teenager. But every so often I'll just be sitting there and I'll take something off somebody's plate next to me and they'll look at me, "Are you Gabby Roslin?" I go, "Yeah." And then I'll just carry on and go, "Hi, you all right?" They went, "You just took a chip." I went, "I know, thank you." And they just carry on, and then they just carry on eating. But it's just silly little things like that. And it was a famous sketch that was all, that used to do it all over the place. But you just actually paying homage to that.
Yeah.
It's a real, it's a love of something like
Bill
that.
Murray apparently does that. Bill Murray will he'll go up to someone in a restaurant, take something off their plate, and he'll just whisper, "No one will ever believe you," and then walks away. Like, that's amazing. But you need to be a real A-lister to be able to get away with that.
That is, but it's those simple things. And also, like we said, you've been married.
Yes, I've been married twice.
Yeah.
For video purposes.
Yeah.
I had 2 ideas. Number one, where I want to have legally the world's shortest marriage. So because there was a couple in Kuwait who got married for 3 minutes. And
did you beat 3 minutes?
Yeah, we beat 3 minutes.
Oh, you did?
So I went out and stood outside St Paul's because I wanted a royal wedding. So I wanted to do it on the grounds of St Paul's, with a registrar and a divorce lawyer. And I got both of them to print off the respective documents that you needed to technically get married and technically get divorced. And I just walked around St Paul's, just going up to people and say, "Hi, would you like to get married?" And eventually I found this woman who, she didn't watch my videos, but her fiancé did. And her fiance wasn't there, but she recognised me and said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm filming a video where I'm trying to have the world's shortest marriage. Can I marry you?" And she said, "Let me just ask my fiance." So she called him up and said, "Can I get married to this man called Max Fosh?" And he was like, "Yeah, fine." So we had a 90-second marriage where she signed the papers.
So crazy.
We had a wonderful marriage of 90 seconds, and then she signed the divorce papers. So that was marriage number 1. Marriage number 2 was that I wanted to become a member of the royal family.
Yeah, you remember the royal family.
So I found a guy who he had his family tree that could date him back to Mary Queen of Scots, and he was. Then we got married in London. I then tried to get divorced. and I realised, because we want to get an annulment, but I found out that you can't get annulments for gay marriages. So we had to wait for a divorce, but a divorce you need to be married for a year before you can file for a divorce.
So you were married for a
I
year?
was married for a year.
Oh, I didn't realise. So 90 seconds and a year.
Yeah, so 9 seconds a year. So I got the annulment for the world's shortest marriage, and then I had to get a divorce for getting married into a member of the royal family.
But you went to America and you were a member of the royal family.
I was, yeah. Then I went to America and I pretended to be the Earl of Luton. That was that was a bit naughty. That was probably one of the only times where I thought that was a little bit naughty, because I had this idea because I wanted to understand like how Americans, like, you know, the what it's like, the royal fame in America. And so I hired 2 massive security guards. It was 6'7", and I dressed in linen trousers and like a linen shirt and just was being very royal. And we went into a
And being
department
very royal.
store.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
it. Just being royal.
We went to a department store on Fifth Avenue, and I wanted to see what preferential treatment I would get if I said I was a member of the royal family. And my producer walked in beforehand, 5 minutes before, said, "Just so you know, we're going to have a VVIP about to turn up. He's a member of the British royal family. He's the Earl of Luton. Is there anything that you can do?" And they crap themselves. They were like, "Okay, what do we do? Okay, right. Yes, no worries. We'll shut an entire floor. We'll give him a personal dresser. Okay, right, go." So my producer came out and she said, "You need to sell this." So I walk into this department store, and the idea was to kind of walk around, get some silly sound bites, and then leave. But I'd realised that they had gone above and beyond, so I really needed to sell this. So I walked in, 2 huge security guards flanked on either side. They had given me 2 of their personal shoppers and the entire floor of this department store. And so I was walking around and I was basically pointing these out because I wanted to see whether they would say I would look good in anything. And so I saw the sparkliest jacket. I saw there was literally a duck on a leather jacket, and she was like, "Oh my God, you look amazing in that. That's gorgeous. I love it." So I did this, and the idea was, again, to have a bit of fun and then leave. But they put so much time and effort into this. I thought, oh dear, and I thought I need to buy something. Now, the idea in my head was like, I'll buy something, I'll leave, and then I'll come back a few days later and return it, so I don't have to spend lots of money. So I then pick out the ugliest items. I go to the till, I pay for it. 4 items cost $2,500.
Oh, ouch, ouch.
Really ouch. So I pay for the items, I leave. I leave and think, phew, we got away with that, thank God. As soon as I leave, I get a message on Instagram from one of the people who worked in the shop saying, "I knew it was you. If you ever release that footage, we'll sue you." And I thought, oh my God, I've been rumbled. And I called up. I've got a lawyer who I call in times of need.
I was going to say, I can imagine, on your first favourite go.
Yeah. And I said, "What do I do?" And I said, "Well, currently, what you've done is you've walked into a store, said you were like a member of the royal family. You spent a lot of money and you left. What are they going to say?"
Yeah.
"Your Honour, he spent lots of money."
I was going to say, I don't understand what you've done wrong.
I hadn't done anything wrong. He said, if you return the clothes, then maybe they could argue you've done something wrong. So he said, if you really want to keep yourself in the clear, don't return the clothes. So I've had to keep the most hideous clothes from this department store.
Is it the jacket with the duck?
It was, yeah, jacket with the duck. Jacket with the duck. So I've got at home, I don't really know what to do with it,
Charity.
this awful clothing.
Charity, what, really?
It's one of some of the items are from the famous designer Greg Lauren, which is apparently Ralph's nephew.
No. That's somebody getting you back.
I hope so.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So yes, no, I've had a lot of fun with the royal family, but I think my days with the Earl of Luton are slightly behind me.
So when you look at all the ones you've done, it's a funny thing to ask, I suppose. But what are you most proud of? Which is the proudest prank? The prank is proud.
Well, actually, a video that I genuinely felt really warm and fuzzy making was we took a granddad on the stag do he never had. So he was 89 years of age and he never had a bachelor party or a stag do. And so we had this, it was called Gerald. He was amazing, from Essex. And so we took him to Amsterdam. And, you know, we did a booze cruise, we went paintballing. He was loving it. Like, he was having a great time. But in one of our first meetings, he'd said that the only other time he'd been on camera is that he had done the Generation game in 1964 with his dad and Bruce Forsyth on the Generation game. And he'd never seen the footage. So,
oh no, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Why have I not seen this one?
So,
is it out? What's
it is out,
titled?
but it's actually weirdly. I took a granddad on a stag do. Weirdly, it didn't perform well at all. No one really wanted to watch it, and it didn't do well due to the algorithm. But when we were away, I had my producer Molly call up a few mates of hers in archive, and just said, "You need to find this." And on the last day we woke up, last day of filming, we still hadn't found it. I got a message saying, "We've got it. We found it."
I'm going to cry.
And so we showed it to him in Amsterdam at the end of it, and we flew with it, all his whole family and his wife. And we plopped him down in front of a laptop and showed him this footage he hadn't seen for 60 years. And it was him with his dad. And they used to be market sellers, like in the markets in Essex. And he still remembered the patter that he had about like selling cups and mugs. And his mouth was moving along to what he was saying on the Generation game 60 years later.
Honestly.
And I was so happy that we found that footage. So that was actually one where I was like, I feel like we've really done something. We've really made someone's day. Also, kind of because he'd always wanted to see this.
Oh, that's incredible.
But
that's really moving.
You must have had a lot of stories with art. Like Archive is just absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but I love making people that those moments are just precious, really, really precious. And for me, you know, I love the pranks. I love doing pranks. I've done some that people still don't know about, but I've done one that was very public on television that we caught somebody out, which was brilliant. But it's those moments that mean the world, and I think more of those from you, because I think what you do is you spread joy, which is something obviously I feel so strongly about. But for you though, so where does this go? I mean, now you're touring the world. I mean, you're going off this. So just so you know, we'll edit this bit out, but this goes out at the very beginning of January.
Right.
So you've had Christmas, you've done touring last year, you've got more touring to go this year with Loophole.
Yeah.
Is that how you see? I mean, more videos, more touring, more TV.
I think it's just a case of, like, I don't really have. We don't really know where the media ecosystem is going to go. I think YouTube is still a very stable environment, and if you make content that people want to watch, then people will come, as it were. So I'm doing more touring this year. It's just about ways of what I think my audience would enjoy and what I would like to enjoy. And so I thought I'd love to do a live show. I did one about 4 years ago, which I toured just the UK. And then last year I thought I'd love to do a bigger tour. So last year I did about 65 dates in the UK, US, Canada and Europe. And then this year I'm looking to do about 10, 15 in Australia. And
it's amazing.
But that's just a case of it was bloody hard work, but it was a lot of fun.
But you like hard work,
yeah,
don't
absolutely.
You?
And I think it's just having the opportunity. I've had the opportunity to be able to perform to people in different countries. How cool is that? And I'm so glad that I, did that last year and started the tour last year, and I'm going to be finishing off this year. But in terms of what it means and where it goes, I have no idea. If something comes along and said, "Hey, would you like to come and present this?" Absolutely, why not? Let's give it a go.
Good.
But I still need to be very loyal to the audience that I've got on YouTube. And we see a lot of creators online get very successful in what they do, and they weirdly stop doing the thing that made them successful in the first place, because lots of shiny new toys come along. And your audience then, the audience that has been there from the beginning, like, what are you doing?
I totally agree with you. I'm so pleased you said that.
And so it's about understanding that you've got to give the time and due diligence to that audience and make sure that they feel kind of cared for and respected.
It's always got to be about the audience.
Yeah.
That's
well, they're my boss.
That's who we do. That's who we do it for.
And that's a brilliant YouTuber called Emma Chamberlain, who's now gone on to huge things. She has always said that my boss is the audience, and I think that's right. So
I couldn't agree more.
I I don't really know where things are going to go. I didn't expect to be in this position just even 2 or 3 years ago. It's all happening so fast. But I'm trying, like with the live stuff, I'm trying to become the best broadcaster, entertainer, performer that I can be. So I can go into any room and say, I can do 15-minute videos online. you're not interested in that? Okay, well, I can stand in front of an audience for an hour and a half and make them laugh. I can do X, Y, Z. So I'm just trying to make myself as well-rounded.
Oh, you
as
are just
possible.
fantastic. That's exactly. I'm going back to what I said at the beginning. I passionately love this industry. It's all I've wanted to do since I was 3, and I hope more and more and more and more people hear you saying what you've said and follow in your footsteps and carry this mantle, because it's so precious, and making the audience feel that bit better about their day, because there's horrible things going on out there, and people find life very, very difficult. And there are some people who don't find life as difficult, but they also need to feel a bit of escapism. And you are doing that. Carry on doing it. Do not stop. And I love that you care about the audience so much.
Absolutely.
It's always about that.
From like, do your kids want to go into the broadcasting world? Or is it a case
acting,
darling.
acting?
Well, that is the one world that I would kind of recommend against, because
Would you do it?
My girlfriend is an actress, and I see how difficult it is.
It's very difficult
to have your destiny in somebody else's hands. It's very much down to kind of what we were talking about earlier, that permission of somebody else to, yes, you need to be able to do it because I think you can do it, rather than being able to do it yourself. But I'd love to. Have you done acting?
I have. Yes.
Done a few soaps, a few telly.
Oh no, I
did
was in
musicals.
Yes, for a year. I was in Chicago playing Mama Morton. But this is about you, not me. Have you done a musical? Because you just
I'd
you've
love
got to
do musicals.
Yeah, do it. Can you? You can sing.
Yeah, I started in a choir in London when I first joined. I came down to London. I thought I'd like to do something a bit of fun. I joined a choir, so I would hopefully be a put bums on seats rather than an actual good performer.
Well, what about so next? I mean, I know
Probably
other people have done it. I know that lots of people have done it, but why don't you just put on a musical? Put on a musical. Let's write a musical. We'll put it on.
Yeah.
Tell everybody. Yeah, and we'll call ourselves Andrea Lloyden
Rosalind Fosh.
Weber. So everyone thinks it's almost.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do that, and you can be the lead.
Great.
Oh yeah. And it's going to be a musical about.
Big breakfast.
and the royal family, and obviously the finale, you're wearing a jacket with a duck on the back.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a winner. Do you know what? Please carry on doing what you do. I think you're phenomenal, Max. I really, really do.
Thank you.
I think you make this industry make me get excited about this industry. You really do. Keep doing what you do.
Thank you. I mean, I'm trying very, very hard.
Gabby Roslin.